Hello, everybody. Welcome. So glad that you're joining me tonight. I don't even know where to start. There are a couple things, okay? A couple things that I want to bring to your attention before we get going. Of course, tonight we're continuing our coverage that has been long and copious about the case of the murder of Madeline Soto, the 13-year-old Kissimmee, Florida girl who spent about 5 years being abused, according to police, by her mother's on again, off again boyfriend, a man named Stephan Stearns. I really like to look at pictures like this instead, mug shots of Mr. Stearns. But before we get into it, I've gotten several requests over the last little while. I'm just going to level with you about the channel, okay? One of the things that really takes up a lot of time is doing FOIA requests, doing right to know law requests, or FOIL requests, sunshine law requests, whatever they are in the particular state that we're looking at them in. And it's something that I really love to do, but there are plenty of you out there that are very good at it. In fact, tonight's video, we're going to listen to some audio and take a look at some files that I got from one of you. So I've been asked if I could set up a drop file for you to upload files to me. And I finally did it. So I'm going to incept myself for a second looking at this very live stream right here. If you go down to the bottom, I've put a link in there that is my file drop link. It's right there. You click on it. It's a Dropbox. So it's not, guys, it's not anonymous, right? It's the internet. So if you want to remain anonymous, this is definitely not the way to do it. But if you are a person who likes to gather information, loves to get police reports and criminal complaints and affidavits of probable cause, body-worn camera stuff, you know what I'm talking about, interview room stuff, this is where you can drop those files if you would like to participate in my little experiment here on YouTube, my channel. Okay. So I wanted to give that to you. I've linked it in the description below, but I barely set it up just a few minutes ago. So I'll put a link on my website after this live stream is through. Okay. So now that that is out of the way, and man, I guess it's not out of the way. I really deeply appreciate you guys helping me with this stuff. A lot of you have your finger on the pulse of cases that are really important and better than I do, much better than I do. So if you would like to participate in this, that's how you do it. And I really appreciate that you would consider it. Okay. Getting back to Maddie. Okay. Come on over with me to Acrobat. All right, this is a report from May 8th. It is by Kissimmee PD Detective Morris. And in this report, it wasn't originally redacted. I have redacted the person's name and their address. But it talks about how Detective Pinnell, along with Detective Morris, on March 13th of 2024, so we're only 13 days past the discovery, well, 12 days past the discovery of Madeline Soto's body, right? They know that she's dead at this point, and her body was found in St. Cloud, but if we go over there, it says on March 13th, 2024 at approximately 9 a.m., Detective Pinnell and I responded to, and then an address where we contacted, redacted. Okay, the woman. The Kissimmee Police Department received a tip about this case that mentioned this woman who possibly had information regarding Madeline. I asked her if she could provide me with some insight on Madeline's family. She stated she has known the family for approximately 2 years. Sorry about that. Which would put Madeline around 11 years old. She stated she would go hiking with Jennifer and Madeline in the area of Lake Lizzie, St. Cloud, Florida. Remember that when police talked with Jennifer Soto in her police station interview, she talked about this area as well. She was pointing police to that area as a place that they would go hiking and possibly a place that they would find Madeline's body. I think I've got that correct. I think so. Anyway, so she stated she would go hiking with Jennifer and Madeline in the area of Lake Lizzie in the St. Cloud, Florida. She stated Jennifer started dating Stephan and she didn't think very highly of him because he didn't have a job and all he would spend most of his time painting figurines. I asked who would come to this area to visit when they went hiking. She stated it would only be Jennifer and Madeline. Stephan never once went with them. She did not know why Stephan would be in St. Cloud because according to her, he does not have any ties to the area. Okay. Now here's the kind of crazy thing is that Madeline's body was found less than a mile away from this person's home. Less than a mile. Now, this starts our brains, the cogs are turning, right? The gears, they're going. Why would Stephan drop off Madeline's little deceased body, her murdered body, in St. Cloud when he had never been there and do it within a mile? It was like less than 3/4 of a mile is what we're talking about. We're about 3/4 of a mile. Why would he do it so close to there? And then Jennifer in her interview talk about maybe out in the Lake Lizzie area. To me, it's because I think that she knew where Madeline's body was. You guys have pointed it out several times as we've gone over this, where when police went to their door and asked, they were looking at Madeline's phone, Jennifer would talk in the past tense. Yes, that was Madeline's phone. She would already talk in the past tense. And when she was talking to the police detective while she was in that interview room, she talked about Madeline in the past tense before she even was talked about this possibly being a murder situation, right? So I think those are indications that she already knew what had happened to Madeline. Either Stephan had told her, she had seen the deed, seen the aftermath of the deed, or had helped in the aftermath of it all. I don't know, right? There are other possibilities as well, but those are the ones that come to mind. So what I have here to listen to is this actual interview. It's less than 10 minutes long. Now, this interview, we've redacted the names again. It was released with the names. We've redacted those. And then I did my very best to make it listenable. It was recorded. The recording was almost as bad as the Sabrina Adkins interviews over in the Kevin Mullins case. It was almost that bad, but I was able to use AI a little bit. I was able to splice together a bunch of things. So, different levels of AI, different, and some points, no AI at all. And I went through the whole thing. So this is one that I've actually listened to. I normally would like to listen to these with you for the first time. This one I've listened to because it was just so hard to hear that I had to just do a lot to this file. Did my very best to ensure that it didn't remove anything or alter anything in the file. But I do want you to know that it's not the original file because it was nearly unlistenable. Okay? So with that, let's bring a picture of Madeline up and I will start the interview. And it is 7 minutes and 29 seconds long, so not long at all. Remember to use GF in your comments because I really want to hear your comments on this, guys. Here we go.
Time is 9:09.
Make sure you can hear
it. It is March 13th, 2024. We are myself.
That was, again, that's an example of redaction. Redacted her name, redacted her address.
Morris, Detective Pinnell, reference to case number 24001896. And we're going to be interviewing
That's okay.
That's good. I appreciate you talking to us. So, like I said, I'm the one that's investigating the death of Miss Maddie Soto. We received a tip this morning via our department, which led me out here saying may or may not know the family or have somewhat of a history of the family.
I knew her a long time ago. She probably when she was like eight-ish.
And this is Maddie or
Maddie and Jen.
okay.
And sometimes we would go hiking with her in Lake Lizzie. It wasn't so much me, but my partner. And
Got the reserve over there.
yeah, Lake Lizzie. And I mean, everything seemed normal.
How long have you known Jen? And
I mean, maybe a year or two. I'm gonna say I don't. I wasn't the one who was primarily involved. I mean, I met Maddie, right? I met her, and she was a sweet kid. Do you want to go? I don't, do you want to for the sun? Do you want to?
yeah, if you don't mind.
Oh my.
My well, break. Yeah, there we go. Appreciate it. Yeah. It's like right in my face.
So maybe.
It's funny, Hannah. It's the birds that that were the hardest thing. The hardest thing was those birds were just so overwhelming, but it does sound nice. Yeah.
I'd say a year or two, and that's just off of memory. And then she hooked up with that guy,
Okay.
Stephan, and again, just trying to remember. We probably knew them maybe another 4 to 6 months. Well, we didn't like him.
You didn't like Stephan, or why not?
He is a scumbag.
Oh yeah.
I knew. Not that he would do that.
Right.
Scumbag. Like, so they knew Jen and they knew Maddie, but as soon as Stephan came in the picture, they're like, we do not like Stephan. The guy's a scumbag. He's the worst. I'm going to back it up just a little bit because I tend to talk over these things. I'm just going to back it up a few seconds. Here we go.
He is a scumbag.
Oh yeah.
I knew. Not that he would do that.
Right.
I never had that, But he didn't have a job. Couldn't hold a job. Was proud about painting these stupid little plastic soldiers.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, oh my God. I was just like, I resented that he got, I don't know how he stayed alive. Most of us have to work.
Right.
And I resented that. I resented it, right? So that he.
Yeah, that is one of the things that we've all brought up, right? It's been brought up multiple times. Beth Meeks said Stephan had a job. His full-time job, all of his effort was put into feeding his sickness. Sickness is my word, but like feeding his addiction, illness, kink, whatever you want to call it, that was his full-time job. And so he didn't have another job. All he would do is feed his illness, feed his demons, paint little figurines and play games. That's the kind of guy he was, my opinion.
He had the time to do that. But anyway, but I hardly ever talked to him. So like that was, we were like.
Where did you meet Jen? And
my partner's colleague knew her in high school.
okay.
Something like that. Like her. Jen in high school. Because they went to, yeah. But I didn't know. This is all,
Right.
Right? Her friends. So
What did they get?
I think so. Then they moved, I believe. I think they moved north, but I'm not sure. He found a job.
Farmers?
So they left, and I thought so. Then me that they had to move back. I guess he lost his job. I don't know. Came. I don't. And I thought they had split up at that point. Honestly, I thought they had split up. They were having some issues. Said to Jen, leave him. You know, you don't do that, right? You don't usually interfere in somebody's business like that. Right? He was pretty bad enough that she was like, leave him. Yeah, we didn't. So we hardly knew, you know.
Wow. She's like, you normally don't get in people's business, but he was so bad that we said, you got to leave this guy. This guy, meaning this guy. Same guy here. This guy. You got that's how bad it was for them. And yeah, I don't think I've ever felt like a friend had a bad enough boyfriend, girlfriend, partner, whatever you want to call it, that I would advise them to break up. In this case, that's exactly what they did, according to her.
Them once he entered their life.
Gotcha. Did they ever spend any time out here? Have they ever come here to visit?
She did come. Betty came, not him. Never came here. Okay. We would never. I mean, I'm telling you, not like that guy. She came here a couple times because they would hike and sometimes just get a drink or something, and before they left or something like that. But I couldn't tell you how often. You know.
So did Jen come out here with Maddie too?
Yeah.
Okay. But Stephan never came out here. Not even sitting out in the car or anything like that.
No.
Didn't like him.
Did she let us know to Jen that she didn't like him?
I'm not sure at first.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. Right. I do know that once they were having issues, she told them.
She kind of let her
Oh yeah.
know her.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But I don't know at first, you know, because it's not really something appropriate. Usually they decide.
Yeah.
Right. So
Exactly.
actually, they found her body in the Demick's property.
She knows the name of the property. It's 3/4 of a mile away.
Yeah, that's why we're kind of concerned, especially knowing that you lived out here. That he might have been out here at some point, or
Oh no.
Really has no ties to St. Cloud.
Yeah.
In there, so.
But does that actually do anything? Like, does that push forward the investigation in any?
I mean, it could. Any little bit helps,
I mean, but no, he was never here.
Okay.
Never. Not that I know of. No.
When do you think the last time Jen was out here with Maddie?
Oh God. I don't know, Nick. It's got to be years. I mean, it's years. I don't. Because, like I said, she was probably 8 or 9. I'm gonna guess.
Okay.
You know, just to remember, but years. That's. I mean, that's it.
Yeah, no worries.
She's not. I mean, yeah. I didn't even know they were together. Really, and I sure as heck didn't know that he was doing the things he did.
Right.
I can't believe that nobody did anything. Because-
Well,
But yeah, I don't know what. Anyway, yeah, I don't know what he was doing. I had no idea what brought him here. Because he wasn't. It's not his area. Oh, he never went hiking that I know of. Never anything. So I don't know.
gotcha. Okay. Anything else, D? No. All right. Did you tell me the truth the whole time? We just have to ask. Anytime we interview somebody, we have to ask. Okay.
As far as my memory can recall, it's been a long time. We haven't seen him,
Okay. All right. Much for your time. Sorry to bother you on a Wednesday. So, all right. Thank you so much, ma'am. I appreciate your time.
That is literally the entire encounter, 7 minutes and 29 seconds long. 7 minutes 29. So a couple things in there that stuck out to me, right? And we've talked about them as we went along, but a couple things that are big. They they just knew that there was something wrong with the guy from the very beginning. Just gave the ick, right? It was just icky. He didn't have a job. He didn't. He was so creepy, so disgusting, so not good for them that they actually gave advice to Jen saying, you got to drop this guy. And there was a comment in here that was like, too bad Jen didn't take their advice. I can't find it, but it's too bad that she didn't. I do love Kevin Troy's comment here. Here we are. Why did you say he didn't have a job? He didn't have a job. That's just the way that she did it. Now, you guys could hear in the audio that it kind of went up and down, and it changed timbre a little bit. The noise floor changed a little bit here and there, but that's what I was talking about. I was trying really hard to make it so that we could understand it. Looks like we got a couple more comments in here that I want to go over. Jess says, Gavin, Jen didn't listen because she was complicit. Just saying. I can't disagree with you. In my opinion, I think that she was. Now, part of that, I think, again, going back to my conversation with Beth Meeks, and I have got to have her back on, for crying out loud. She's amazing. And I think you guys would have amazing questions for her if we brought her on again. Anyway, I think that when Stephan Stearns was hunting, when he was on the hunt, again, his full-time job, on the hunt looking for a victim, and he eventually found Maddie. Just as important in finding the victim was finding a gatekeeper that could be manipulated or coerced, or even better for him, but worse and much more gross by far, somebody who would voluntarily be complicit. And I didn't even think that was a possibility until I watched that podcast. I can't remember what it was again, but I shared it with you guys. So yeah, Jen, either because she was coerced or manipulated, or she just was all into it, I think she probably was complicit too. I'm with you, Jess. Let's see. Bite my bits. I like the spelling. Very good. I just got here and so glad to see Gavin talking about this hiking friend being around corner from body. I've been telling people this for months. Yeah, it's nuts. It's nuts. And I have to say, it was because of Plunder that I even was made aware of this. And then, through one of my mods actually was able to get my hands on the file. Yeah, it's crazy how, I think that, I wonder if it was a little bit of an in-your-face kind of thing, either subliminally or on purpose, that the people that didn't approve of Stephan, that maybe even turned Jen against Stephan, that he would drop Maddie's body 3/4 of a mile from their house. Seem either that, or maybe I'm reading too much into it. Maybe Jen was just like, hey, here's this beautiful place in St. Cloud that we go. Let's lay her body out there. She loved walking around out there. Just thinking about it grosses me out, makes me angry too. Brenda, Gavin, I can't imagine the turmoil Maddie was feeling, worried she'd hurt her mom, or even that POS. Let's see. Go back up here. Hannah says, Gavin, do you suppose Jen suggested to Stephan that he could dump the body in the lake near the friend, only he got a flat tire? Oh, maybe that's it. Maybe he was trying to make it all the way to the lake or the hiking trail, but got a flat tire along the way. Hannah, that's a great observation. Sandra says, Gavin, everyone knew Jennifer Soto's family, Stephan Stern's family, they were all guilty in this. I think that, Sandra, I don't know that I would go that far. Actually, I know that I wouldn't go that far. I would extend grace to several people. I mean, when you look at photos like this, right? Juan Soto, that I think that he is probably the one that is the most brokenhearted about this. I don't think he knew. Stephen Young, Jennifer's ex-husband, I don't think he knew. He was angry and hurt about this. For all of his shortcomings, I think that Tyler Wallace, Maddie's biological father, I don't think he knew. And he had a lot of reasons maybe for not knowing it. And Chris and Deb Stearns, they did notice some weirdness, the whole sleeping in the same bed thing, and they brought it up, and I just am willing to extend a little more grace than I once was willing to do, especially with the Stearns. I don't know that they're all guilty in it. I think that in this man, that somebody said in a comment, he looks like he smells. I think that he was just a very good predator. There were people who knew for sure, and I think that maybe Jen was one of them. But yeah, I think this guy was a very, very good predator and had the wool pulled over a lot of people's eyes. I mean, we listened to the conversations of the roommates. One of the roommates was a friend of Jennifer Soto's sister, had known Jennifer forever, described her as a great mom, right? I don't think that those people are guilty in all this. I think that the responsibility lies in this man. Some of it lies here with Jennifer Soto. I don't know that anybody else, I was thinking about her grandma. I don't think so. I don't think, her Aunt Stephanie. But I respect your opinion and appreciate your comment. Thank you for that. Let's go back to little Maddie. Here we go. Mooney says the audio is outstanding. Well, it kind of jumps around, but we were able to hear it better this time, right? Because it started sounding like Sabrina Atkins. It was really difficult. So I'm glad everybody was able to hear it. Beach Fairy, Gavin, you cleaned that up very well considering some of the other stuff we've heard with lawnmowers in the background. Didn't have to rip my earphones out of my ears for this one. Good. I'm glad. Kara's first live. Kara, welcome. I tried to be thorough. I think this is the 64th video I've done on Madeline Soto, and I've tried to stay respectful as well. Thank you and welcome. Let's see. Yeah, Robin Bernardi says, Gavin, get on the stick and send an invite to Beth. I know, I need to do that. I need to get her on. She was amazing. She is amazing. Gavin, with all the pics they have, I think there were more victims than just Maddie. I agree. Now, we know that there were about 1,700 photos and videos depicting the abuse of Madeline Soto. We also understand there were about 35,000 other photos is what I think they all were. There might be video. I don't know. But yeah, those couldn't possibly all be of Madeline. And it seems like from the reports that they're not Madeline. Because if they were Madeline, there would be more than 60 charges. There would be 35,000 or whatever. So yeah, I think those were other CSAM images, and I think that he was probably trading them. I honestly don't understand the psyche, and I don't want to understand that psychology either. I mean, the surface level that I understand so far is enough for me. I've had enough. Real Happy 33. The audio was the best I've heard it. Good. Thank you. I'm glad that you guys liked that. I did my best. Where was that taken, Gavin? Are you talking about the recording? The recording was taken at the home of that woman who is a friend of Jen's. And really, it was her partner who was a friend of Jen's. Let's see. Beach Fairy. Gavin, I sent you an email about that too. I'm sure you've heard of P manuals. Saw it in a report recently. There's one with advice on how to find the right mothers. Oh, well, Beach Fairy, I don't recall the email, but I will take a look. I'll try to find it. But yeah, I think that's what I think Stephan was just very good at it. And yes, see, she does look like a little angel. She is a little girl with all of the possibilities ahead of her, all the possibilities and chances and opportunities that life gives all of us. She had them out in front of her, and she was a sweet little thing. And there were people in her life that really loved her. This man was not one of them, but there were people. I look at this little picture of Maddie and Juan, and it just tickles me. It just warms me up. Yeah. Lori Knight, Gavin, any word on other victims since not all the pics were Maddie? In the files that I have, there aren't any other indications of what the identities of the child or children are, most likely children. But from experience, I do know that those would be forwarded on to a team of investigators. Most likely, it would be multiple agencies, most likely a federal agency, looking at who those children are. I'm sure that those photos have been traded around and passed around thousands of times, and that many of them have all been seen by those investigators before. But we don't know specifically who those children are. Tanya says, you did great on surviving the survivor yesterday. Yesterday was an important day, guys. Yesterday was the anniversary of the death of Ellen Ray Greenberg. 14 years. 14 years ago, Ellen was killed. Ellen didn't die. Ellen didn't do it to herself. Ellen was murdered. And yesterday was the 14th anniversary. It was an honor to be with Joel and Sandy and Josh Greenberg yesterday on Surviving the Survivor. Thanks for bringing that up, Tanya. I appreciate that. Let's see. Lots of comments. Holy cow. Gotta go scroll way up. I'm sure Jen was telling Stephan what his friend would tell her about him. I bet. New England Coast, Kevin, appreciate the work you do to make the best possible stream possible. Well, I, again, did my best. Thank you. Horror Queen 1988. Gavin, I don't think Jennifer Soto would have made the Woody Allen reference had she not known something was going on. I wonder how early on she made that comment. If it was early on, that would be solid proof to me. Yeah, that comment is it's definitely a brick in that wall, right? It's another piece of evidence for sure. Gavin, for where Maddie was, Jennifer Soto knew or helped. Yeah, I think I agree with that. A Downlands, I don't know. Gavin, but I'm sure Stephen Stearns knew others in Maddie's life didn't like him, so it makes me wonder why leave the body near this particular friend. Yeah, I wonder if that's something that might come out. We'll have to take a look-see at witness lists and stuff like that that will be coming out in the case. I'm not sure. but yeah, I mean, that's a good question. Why choose this friend? Why not go to Oklahoma or Georgia or, somewhere far, far away? Or yeah, something a little harder to find. I'm glad he didn't, but makes you wonder. Makes you wonder why. Carolyn Wright, didn't they say at one time that she was bisexual? I think that Deb Stearns said that Jennifer Soto was bisexual. I don't know. I don't know what that has to do with anything, but I do remember hearing that. Why would Jennifer Soto point law enforcement to St. Cloud if she knew about the murder? Maybe Stephan got the area. I think maybe just because she wanted her daughter's body found so that they could move on. See, I don't know specifically that that's what happened. I'm just guessing at this point, but yeah, if I were to guess, say Jennifer knew, I don't think that a mother, no matter what kind of mother, I don't think any mother would like the idea of their daughter's body just cold and rotting in a field somewhere. Jess says, I don't agree that everyone in the family knew the extent of what was going on. I think many of them saw how inappropriately close they were and were shut down by Jennifer Soto whenever they tried to speak up. Connie says, Gavin, I'm sorry if this has been said, but did Stephan have a history of SA? I haven't found anything specific, but I imagine so. In my opinion, I'm sure he has a long history, for sure. Phoenix Rising, always good to see you, Phoenix. After Gavin, to be honest, after watching Jennifer Soto's interview, I think she's pathetic and highly vulnerable to this. Dumb as a doornail doesn't make her guilty. I think we need to hold the guilt to the evil doers. I can respect that opinion. I just don't share it completely. I think that, so we got to have Beth back on, man. We got to have Beth back on. I'll reach out to her tonight. Okay. But what Beth said was that Jen has some culpability here, some responsibility here. But that Stephan was likely just very good at what he did. And so, yeah, the biggest evildoer in all of this is Stephan Stearns, I think. But I think that Jennifer Soto bears some responsibility too. I appreciate and respect your comment, though. Keep on going. Gavin, did you see what is on Grish channel? I don't. I haven't. I think that you've got some typos there. Are you talking about Grizzly? I'm not sure. Not sure. Jess says, Gavin, Jennifer opened the gate for Stephan to get Maddie and shut everyone else out. She was very comfortable with that arrangement. It seems like it. Gavin, have any of Stephan Stearns' ex-girlfriends come out with any information? I do remember seeing something about an ex-girlfriend. Now I'm trying to remember, was it in Arizona or something like that? But I don't remember the details, Brenda. I'll have to look into that. Was it Marge? I'm sorry. Marge. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name there, but Gavin, first live as well. Well, love back to you in France. I will be probably back in France in June. We're landing on France. So in June, Kimberly and I will be going to London for CrimeCon UK because that's my favorite show. And then we're going to spend some time on the continent. And we're looking at 3 different places right now. Portugal, France, or Romania. That's where we're kind of narrowing down our visit to. We're looking for a place to take a radical sabbatical with our littles, and I'm looking forward to that. So, my love back at you in France. I've spent a lot of time in your country, and I love it there. Amanda says, Gavin, my anger over this case has turned into something else. I don't know what it is. I don't have any words for it. I just feel nauseous every time I hear his name or see his photo. Well, then I will not show it to you again. Try my best to remember that. No more looking at that guy. It's hard to look at him, for sure. Okay, a couple more. Gavin, let's see. If I was the counselor, I would report it. Run away to the woods. Oh, talking about the school counselor. Yeah. Yeah, there wasn't enough apparently for any of those teachers to say anything. But there was definitely something going on there. Yeah, Mickey 39. Thank goodness, Gavin, you can't imagine his thinking. What makes a monster like this? I know. Okay. You guys have a lot of other stuff. Oh, Mooney says, can I hide in Kimberly's suitcase for the European tour? Mooney, unfortunately, this is just a Gavin and Kimberly thing. Love you, but you are not invited on this one. Plus, and this is something that is very important to me, I am a carry-on traveler only. I have gone on trips that lasted weeks and weeks and weeks, and backpack or carry-on only. So I'm afraid there will be no giant suitcase for you, Mooney. However, if you want to come to CrimeCon UK, it's fun because it's small. Instead of thousands and thousands of people, it's 800 or 900 people, but we're all on one floor in one location, and we got to all hang out together. It's a blast. You should consider coming to CrimeCon UK. It is quite the experience. Okay, there's some other ones in here, but I'm gonna call that a night, guys. Hey, tomorrow, let me bring up ye old website. If we go over here, let me bring you guys with me. Tomorrow we are circling back over to the Mickey Steins murder of Judge Kevin Mullins. Believe it or not, Mickey Stein's lawyer has gone on Law and Crime and has done a long form interview. We're going to look at that, talk about some of the things that he put out there in terms of what the defense strategy is going to be. He does say this is not a whodunit. Mickey definitely killed Kevin Mullins. But what is the defense strategy going to be? That's what we're going to talk about tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Another quick little channel update on Wednesday, which is the 29th. We will be live streaming, but we'll be doing it a little bit later because our children have a band concert that we're going to, and so I need to bump it a little later to go and see the kids play in the band. And that is really important to both Kimberly and me, because we love music and love that our kids are musicians, and they're doing pretty darn great. So I'm excited for that. So come back tomorrow at 7:30. Tonight I will be also scheduling out Wednesday. That will be a little bit later than on Thursday. We'll return at 7:30. While I got you here, just a quick little self-promotion. Head on over to Facebook and search The Fish Tank for our conversations about everything true crime. Also, head on over to the website to contact me. You can do that by clicking here. The other thing, my patrons make it possible for me to have this website and to be able to publish immense case files, not just my videos, but recordings and documents and a whole bunch of other stuff. It's all, in this case, there's just so much of it. So head on over to gavinfish.com. Do not forget that down below the video, there is now a link to the file drop. If you want to drop any files my way, that is where you do that. If you're good at that stuff, boy, would I love you on my team. All right. With that, bid you adieu. I will see you tomorrow. Take care. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, please consider subscribing. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below.